right. But at least we good. At least we good. Let me just adjust the levels real quick. I'm gonna adjust the levels. Want to make sure the people can hear me loud and clear. Can you hear me? Does it sound good? Can I get a thumbs up, please? Thumbs up. There we go. Thank you. I can't see you. That's what happens when you got an engineer and like the computer blocking away. You can't see the engineer. Oh, okay. You don't need to do a thumbs down again. Thank you. Yes. So as I said, we have a special guest, a CEO, a local business owner, someone who I know. We cool. I don't even remember how we met, but forget that. Let's talk about.
Is it Grenada?
Nah, before that. I think it was before Grenada. I don't remember either. But yeah,
Okay.
it's all good. It's all good. So I'm gonna let her introduce herself. Also I'm gonna let her introduce the products that she has. Her whole business. Just give her a spiel about what she has to offer. All right.
Alrighty, so hi everybody, good evening. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Donnie Paul, the CEO and founder of Tingz. I have a holistic medicinal herbal line. I sell mainly CMOS gel, but I also have other products that don't have CMOS in them, such as elderberry syrup, and I do sell sorrel. Basically, my goal is to create access to high quality CMOS. Do you want me to go into why?
Yeah. Why not? Why
Sure.
not? Yeah.
So I would say 3 years ago now, I was at the peak of my fitness journey. Everything was going well. I lost about 70 pounds and I was a machine. Okay. If you remember, I used to jump rope all the time, and all of a sudden I started to get sick and I couldn't breathe anymore. It was out of nowhere. I was coughing, and that sort of put a stop to that really quick. And I looked into different natural ways to help cure myself, essentially, to help build my immune system, to build my respiratory system. I dealt with asthma, I had steroids, I had inhalers, but I started taking CMOS and I noticed that all of a sudden my airways opened back up. I was able to breathe again, and it was miraculous for me. And so I got my first jar from a woman in Florida. And then I was like, okay, well, I can make this myself. It seems pretty simple. But the problem was I couldn't find CMOS.
Ah.
I couldn't find it. So I went to different stores in Boston. I was looking, I searched up, where I can find quality CMOS. And the things that I was finding in stores in Boston weren't quality.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Did you try Carson Beach?
Oh, God. Bye. Goodbye. So, I did my research online and I finally found a supplier, and I was able to start making CMOS gel for myself. And then I was like, okay, well, what if I make it my business to create high quality, create access to high quality CMOS for people in Boston? So I started selling jars. You were one of my first customers.
Yeah,
One of the very few, before the labels, before the sealing, before even having a logo. Like, I had nothing. I was just making CMOS. And, it worked. And I noticed that different people were coming back to me with their testimonials of what it did for them. And I kept on going. And this is where I am today.
That's dope.
Yeah, thank you.
So you actually answered not only the you answered how it started.
Yeah.
Basically, that's dope. One thing I noticed, I must say, when it comes to anybody I ever have on a show, it seems to me like things kind of just happen on accident, or just like, not to say on accident, but like it wasn't planned. Like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that.
No,
It just kind of happens, and life happens, and
right.
that's kind of that's dope. It's definitely dope. So yes, I was one of the first customers. I was on it.
Buying jars at a time.
Yeah,
Remember
I was
that?
buying jars, man, jars. And the thing about it, for me at least, one thing that I did notice is that I work a lot. So with me working a lot, I literally had no energy. I was drained. I was trying to go to the gym. I was trying to work 10, 12, 13 hours a day. And for the people that don't know, I DJ obviously, but I'm also a musician. So like I give actual music lessons, obviously over Zoom now or whatever the case is. But I was completely drained, and I started to research CMOS. And I've always I was taking the supplements
Oh yeah.
first before I even
Like the
contacted you.
capsules.
Yeah, and I was like, well, she sells CMOS now. Let me contact her. Let me see what's going on.
Yeah.
I think this is even before you had any flavors.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was just the
Just
gold unflavored sea moss that
yeah.
I had nothing else. That was it.
Yeah, and I was legit straight just eating what, like 2 or 3 teaspoons a day.
Yeah. Tablespoons. Yeah.
Tablespoons, teaspoons, whatever the big spoon is, I don't know.
Table.
Yeah, okay. She's like, yeah, I know which one it is. But yeah. And had more energy. I was able to I just noticed the difference, so a lot of people that are watching, a lot of people that will see this, there is a lot of benefits in CMOS. I've experienced it myself, and as she told you, she had her own experiences with CMOS. So I wanted to, what have the people who've been purchasing the CMOS from you, what have they actually been saying? How has it transformed their lives
Right.
and made it better?
Okay, so I can give you a couple of examples because everybody's experience is different. I started with myself, like I said, CMOS for me helped my respiratory system, completely changed my respiratory system. I just felt like I got my lungs back. Another wonderful story that I have is there was a woman and she has a 2-year-old son. I went to middle school with her, and she was telling me that every summer she couldn't go out with her son. It was just too much for her, the pollen, the allergies. She had bad allergies. And she told me this past summer last summer, she said she finally was able to go out with her son. She finally was able to just be outside, and she didn't change anything else. All she changed was she started taking CMOS. Her favorite flavor is the sour one, and she just loves it. So that's one story. She was able to go outside with her son. And I have another woman who is I want to say she's my top buyer. She has bought over maybe like 30 jars of CMOS since I started, like
Wow.
crazy. She orders like every 2 weeks. But for her, she has really bad asthma. And she said that ever since she started taking my CMOS, she hasn't been to the hospital once. Whereas,
say that one more time so the people in the back can hear.
So this woman has really bad asthma, again, respiratory system. And she had to take steroids and all these things. But she said that ever since she started taking my CMOS, she hasn't had to go to the hospital one time.
That's nice.
She hasn't had to go.
Wow.
I have another woman. I have so many stories. Another woman, she was like, I always need to take a nap in the middle of the day. I don't know why. I'm always tired. And she's into fitness. You would think you know what I mean? She has mad energy. And
Right.
she started taking CMOS, and she said her midday naps have stopped. She just has energy now. For me, I also take it before I go to the gym. Like you said, it gives you energy.
Yeah.
So I take it as a pre-workout. But it has so many benefits. Like I know people who haven't been sick since they started taking CMOS. It has a lot of benefits.
Yeah. And one thing that's actually very dope to have those testimonials and hear from people that your product is working. And
Right.
And it's not only to hear that your product is working, it's to know that you're informing people of other options other than, oh, let's take this vitamin and take that vitamin.
Yeah.
It's very important, that especially with everything that's going on today. We don't know what's in our food. We don't know. Yeah, so it's definitely dope that you're not only providing this service and providing this product, but you're making sure that people are knowledgeable about their other options.
Yeah.
So that kind of brings me to my next. Well, actually, before I even get to the next question.
Okay.
So I actually bought a jar. This is in the beginning.
Yeah.
For someone that was they have ridiculous asthma. If they walk into a room that is not even very dusty, if they walk into a room that there's more than a certain amount of dust, then we'd be like, oh, that's clean. No, there's dust. Just we can't see it.
Yeah.
they can't breathe.
Yep.
They would have to take steroids, like ridiculous, like have the whole machine and all that.
Nebulizer, yeah.
Yeah.
I used to have to do that too.
And the steroids they would have to take were so strong that you start seeing like it would make them very jittery and very jittery, and you would clearly see like this person's like
Right.
like kind of shaking. They started taking a CMOS. They fell off now, but they started taking a CMOS.
Tell them come back.
Yeah, no, they're definitely coming back. They actually asked me to, but we'll talk about that later. But
Alrighty.
yeah, and they started taking the CMOS, and since they noticed the difference. This person, mind you, they work overnight. They full-time student during the day. They're a parent, so they need to be up. They need to be focused. They need to have the energy.
Right.
And it's dope that CMOS was able to provide that for them.
Yeah, definitely. I would say there's another benefit that I don't really get many stories on, but it helps with weight management. So there are people who I know that fast. They fast in the morning times, or they do intermittent fasting, just or religious purposes and things like that. And there are people who take the CMOS while they're fasting, and it helps sort of suppress your appetite so that you don't feel so hungry. So just imagine if you're trying to lose weight in particular, you want to not feel hungry so that you don't have to eat everything, so that you can be in a caloric deficit, right?
Right.
So CMOS helps suppress your appetite, and it helps get you through the day. So I think that that's another benefit that, I want to highlight and make sure that people know that it exists. A couple people have came up to me, but not as much as the people who need energy and have the asthma. And another benefit, CMOS helps you with your skin. Anybody who has skin issues, take some CMOS. It helps you from the inside out. And also you can use the plain unflavored CMOS on your face as a mask. I don't know if you see this glow, but that's what it's from. Yeah, I have a natural glow now. I used to suffer from cystic acne, actually, and CMOS has changed that. So if you knew me back in the day, you knew that. So that's another benefit. I would say those are like the top benefits that I would, advertise when it comes to CMOS.
Yeah. So my next question for you is, people hear CMOS, they hear the word.
Yeah.
Where does CMOS come from?
So CMOS is from the ocean. It grows on rocks, and divers go down and they pick it off the rocks, and then they wash it, they clean it, they dry it in the sun, and they ship it over. So CMOS can come. So CMOS is an umbrella term. There are different types of CMOS, different species. I sell the CMOS that comes from the Caribbean. So it's
The good things, all right.
Exactly. So the CMOS that I sell, the gold one is dried in the sun. The purple one is dried sort of under the moon without much light, so that it could keep its color. But the purple CMOS has more of a strong ocean taste and smell.
Oh, you got the flavors.
That one's it's not a flavor. It's the actual purple CMOS, but it does have a flavor to it because of the way that it's dried or packaged and prepared to be shipped over to here. So, but I do have a lot of flavors. My bestseller, I actually have it with me today, is the passion fruit CMOS, and that one everybody goes crazy for it. So you get to have CMOS without the sea taste, and that's really a blessing, because if you had CMOS, it's very plain and bland.
Yeah.
So I like to take this one straight out the jar.
Yeah. And just so y'all can see, because I got my jar, you feel me? So this jar right here, as she said, it's the passion fruit, correct?
That's the passion fruit, yep.
Nice hold on, let me bring it up to the camera. You see this right here? They got the logo, CMOS, Tingz with a Z.
Please.
Yes, with a Z. Please, with a Z. But yeah, it's good quality. Not only there's love in the packaging, there's love in the CMOS. So make sure you please, contact her. So for those who didn't know, I always used to watch Dr. Sebi. And Dr. Sebi used to always say, uh, he used to be a strong advocate for CMOS. And for those who don't know who Dr. Sebi is, he's basically a holistic doctor. You know, he believes in natural remedies that come from the earth. Remember, our blood is like, what, 80-90% water, if I'm correct. And one thing that I did learn from him is that when it comes to CMOS, our body is made up of 102 minerals. Guess how many, like, there are, I don't want, I'm saying guess, but people can't talk to me through the screen.
They could type in the comments.
Yes, they can type in the comments. That's true. That is true. But CMOS has 98 of the 102 minerals in our body. So for those people that are, there's people that I work at CVS, and there's people that come for vitamin C, they come for vitamin D, they come for all this and that vitamin. It's pretty good to say that you can get CMOS, get all the vitamins you're looking for from this one thing, and feel better, to be honest.
Yeah, so that's something that I like whenever somebody asks me, what is CMOS, that's kind of how I describe it. I let them know that just like a multivitamin, right? You go to the store, you get a multivitamin because you're supposed to have these vitamins, but you may not eat that kind of variety. You may not eat that green vegetable that will give you that vitamin. So with CMOS, there are different minerals in different foods, but it depends on what your diet is. Are you getting all those minerals or not? CMOS is like a multi-mineral instead of a multivitamin. So like I said, I feel like I've noticed a significant difference when I started, using it. I didn't realize that I was deficient in these minerals. You understand? So
Right.
I didn't realize that. So I used to be cold all the time. I used to be like low on iron, but here we are with CMOS. That is a mineral.
Right.
I feel better. I don't feel cold all the time. I'm not freezing all the time. So it's just, you got to watch the difference, and then you'll realize what mineral you are deficient in. And you know what I mean? Even with your mood, right?
Yeah.
It helps with your mood. There are different minerals that are associated with how we feel. And CMOS can help you feel better, literally. So, I think it's important for people to really do their research now in this day and age with everything going on. Do your research. Find out what you could be taking, what dietary supplements that you could be taking that will help assist, in your journey, because it depends. I don't know if you eat healthy or not, but most people don't. We're too busy. We got a lot going on. So the best thing to do is to supplement. That's why they're called supplements, right? So you fill in where you aren't doing what you're supposed to be doing. So CMOS is one of those supplements, just like fish oil and vitamin D and all these other biotin, keratin, like CMOS is one of those supplements.
Right.
Yeah.
You heard it. You heard it here first. And also, so I have another question.
Yeah.
How did so what year did you start? You said you started a few years ago, correct?
I started last year, 2020.
2020.
Right in the pandemic.
Right in the pandemic. So how did the pandemic affect the business, and like did it affect in a positive or negative way?
I would say positive. The only negative that COVID has had on the business is supplies, right? I can order jars today, and they won't get here until 2 weeks, and it's that's one. Two is like I used to get my jars from Target, right? But then if you try to go to Target now to find mason jars, you're not gonna find them.
Right.
So now I have to like get jars shipped on a pallet. Like I have to buy bulk. You know what I mean? So it's crazy. Even the CMOS in itself, right? Very early when I started the business, I couldn't get CMOS. I was sold out. I couldn't get CMOS shipped over because remember everything was closed.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get the CMOS. So, but other than that, outside of like the actual like getting the supplies, I would say it's been positive because more people are starting to be more intentional about their health.
Yeah.
Okay. More people want to be healthy. So people are looking up ways to supplement whatever they got going on. So people are finding out about CMOS, especially because of COVID. So, CMOS, elderberry, you hear those terms now all the time
Right.
because people are looking for ways to keep their immune system strong so that they can continue, living life healthy, without being truly affected by what's really going on. So, um, I'm grateful for that, but at the same time, I hope that this, boils over, that this ends, but people still continue to take their health seriously.
Right.
Yeah. So even with the vaccinations and everything going on outside opening back up, that doesn't mean stop taking care of yourself. So
Right.
you got to continue that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's actually good that other than like the shipping issues
Yeah.
or whatever, that people are starting to be more aware of their health. I think health is very important. Uh, Health is it's something that people just kind of look over. They don't really pay attention until something goes wrong.
That's true.
Just like how some people, when it comes to cars, they drive that car every day, go to work, never think, oh, I need an oil change.
Right.
So CMOS is that oil change, that 3 to 5,000 mile maintenance that you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Get your CMOS and make sure that you're boosting your immune system, especially in these times, as she said. The immune system, anybody that's afraid of COVID, it attacks your immune system.
Your lungs.
Like all the important things that you need, that's what it attacks.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to always be on top of that and boost that immune system so that even if you get a common cold, your body's able to have the muscle and the strength to fight that off.
I have another story.
Oh, here we go.
So I know a couple of people who have caught COVID. It's not something that you can truly avoid. You can get it. It's real. And so I know a couple of people who told me that, as soon as they caught COVID, they messaging me, I need a jar of CMOS. I got COVID. I'm positive. What do you have? I need CMOS. I'm not here to say that CMOS cures COVID. That is not true. I'm here to say that the people who have caught COVID and who have taken my CMOS have said that they have been able to manage it at home. They haven't had to go to the hospital. They haven't had to go to urgent care or anything like that. They felt okay. They felt weak a little bit. They had chills and things like that. But other than that, like, they kind of made it through that 10 to 14 day period.
Right.
And they was all set and they continued taking their CMOS. So, I wouldn't say it's CMOS alone that did that. But like, if you take care of yourself and, you eating properly, you drinking your water, you're doing what you got to do, it's very, very likely that you can make it through without having to go to the hospital or anything like that. So, wear your mask and all those things, but take care of yourself from the inside out.
Very true.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself. So I wanted to know.
Yeah.
We heard about the business, how it started.
Yeah.
We heard about, just the testimonials and all that. In the next 5 years, where do you see yourself, and where do you see the business?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bright lights.
Oh, bright lights.
A store.
Flashing lights.
Yeah. So I would say, for me, I see that when it comes to Boston, I feel like there's a lack of stores that you can go into and buy herbs.
Yes.
There are a couple. I'm not going to sit here and say they don't exist, but there is a lack of. I feel like there should be more.
Correct.
Right? The same way there's Burger King in Mattapan Square, then they got one between Mattapan Square and Clary Square. It's the same way there should be a herbal store on every other block, right? So I see CMOS things growing into a storefront that has, herbs that people can come in and buy. CMOS you can come in and buy. My favorite way to use CMOS is to put it in smoothies. So again, the store could have smoothies, but it just depends on the way that the world works, right? Where this goes, but that is my vision. But that can change anytime. Everybody knows that anything can change between now and 5 years. So, but I would really love to have a space where people can come and come in and leave a little different. Come in and know like, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna take my supplements every single day the way that I'm supposed to, so that I could feel the difference. Because you're not gonna feel if you don't take it.
Right.
Yeah. So that's how I see it. That's where I see the business.
Yeah. I think you touched on a really important point, that there's a Burger King on every block.
Okay.
For example, let's just say, for the people that are familiar with Boston, look in the camera, you can see me, For the people that are familiar with Boston, you drive on River Street, there's a Burger King.
Yeah.
You keep going down to Cleary Square, there's a McDonald's.
Hmm.
You go, You go down the street, there's always these restaurants with fast food. They don't offer food that's really good for you.
Yep.
Very few places. Before I even started picking up my CMOS, I used to have to go all the way to Quincy, deep in Quincy.
Yeah.
To this health store, just to get CMOS and those type of things,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I live in Dorchester, so Quincy's next door, but still, it would be nice to stay in Boston. It would be nice to just go around the corner. Let me go to there's a Chinese store on every block.
Yes, sir.
There's literally a Chinese store on every block, but there's no place offering those foods that can really help your immune system and keep you healthy.
The other part is
it's cheap. Sorry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah. Go ahead.
So the other part too is like, all right, fine. The stores don't exist. Cool, right?
Yeah.
I know that I want these supplements. How do I get them? All right, I go online. The problem with online is that you cannot really, unless you stop and really do research and are willing to lose money, you can run into buying herbs and things like that are not quality. I had that problem. I bought CMOS that was full of table salt that smelled like chlorine. It was gross, okay? And I had to stop taking it. I had to stop and look for a supplier. And then once I figured out, that's quality CMOS, that's when I started to, bring it and start selling it. So the same goes for any other herb you're looking for. You got to make sure that it's a quality herb. You know what I mean? My elderberry syrup, all organic, right? You got to make sure that you're sourcing these ingredients from the right places. But instead of having to do that on an individual basis, you have a storefront with an owner who truly wants quality products.
Right.
You don't have to do that. That searching, like, where's Waldo for herbs? Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So if you have that store, you'd be able to just go in, know that, all right, this is a quality store. It has quality herbs. This is my ailment. This is what I'm going through. This herb helps with that, and walk out with it. Be able to go home, make your own concoction or whatever it is, and help heal yourself.
Exactly. I think, you said, I have nothing to say. You said it. It's true. It's true. So we're going to getting close to the wrap up.
Alrighty.
I want you to let the people know how can they contact you if they want CMOS. Let them know your social media handles, and let them know where you conduct business, because business and personal is two different things.
Right. So the best way to find me is right now on social media. My Facebook page for CMOS is at CMOS Tingz, SEAMOSSTINGZ. And that's the same handle for Instagram. That's the best way to find me. You can message me anytime, ask anybody. I'm always answering messages, always answering questions. And on these pages, you'll find the link to my Google form so that you can order your CMOS at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, like people have been doing.
Yeah, I see that.
It's crazy. So that's the best way to find me right now. Of course, as you know, the business is growing. The business is changing. Eventually, I will have a website, cmosthings.com, and you'd be able to find me. But as of right now, while I'm working out the kinks, working through things, just please support me by following me on social media.
All right. You heard it here first. I'm glad I was able to get you in studio.
Thank you.
A lot of people have been contacting me and just saying it's a good look.
Thank
It's
you.
dope that I get somebody not I mean, I guess something different. I
Yeah,
always try to bring something different to the table, and I
that's
always
dope.
try to make sure that whoever doesn't know, because there are a lot of people that still don't know about CMOS things,
Right.
you can know. So you can go on YouTube, because it's gonna be on YouTube. You can go on a
Everywhere.
Facebook. You can go, and just watch it, and you can order your CMOS just like this. It's gonna come in a nice fancy
I have
package,
bigger jars too. That's the 4 ounce jar. I
4
have
ounce.
16 ounces
There we
as
go.
well.
All right. So we're gonna take a real quick commercial break. I gotta pay some bills, and we'll be back momentarily. Uh, say bye to the people as well.
Bye. See you later. Thank you for tuning in.
All right, peace. We gonna yeah, let's go pay some bills.